Hey, what's up guys? Welcome back to QNAP live broadcast from our headquarters here in New Taipei. I'm Rezon and here today with us is Ripple.
Hello Rezon, how are you everyone?
Yeah, I'm good. You?
Fine.
So what do you think about this live broadcast? We will see you again?
Yeah.
Maybe.
Maybe, yes, of course.
Okay. So let's see the slides for today.
Yeah.
And we're going to talk about the QNAP technology. We're going to talk about the QNAP SSD and applications on it to explain it more. That's why we have Ripple to talk into more details, also about more details about the software part.
Yeah, it's actually a recap to all the SSD technology that we have developed so far.
Okay.
Because right now we know that many users started to consider use SSD as primary storage. Yeah.
Okay. So let's see what we have in the agenda. I have to press this twice.
Yes, we have a very good animation here.
Yeah, the animation is nice, and we have to thank who? Lucas was his name?
Yeah, Lucas. Yes,
okay.
yes. Our web designer.
Yes. And we're going to have the first part on introduction of the SSDs, performance, and we will have a video demonstration on how much will the SSD increase the efficiency level.
Yeah, this time we use a different demonstration. We use the IO meter, which is the industry standard performance test software. Yeah, so it's different from before, but the results should be the same.
Results should be the same, and we're going to use your computer for that.
Yes, yes, use my computer directly. Okay. Yeah.
And then we have a related product introduction of the QNAP and the SSDs, and QNAP specific SSD application software.
Yes.
So, how to choose the right SSD for my application? So, would you tell me how would I choose this right SSD for my application?
Yes. Okay. Okay, so you can see that we have so many different SSD brands in the market. For example, right now we are Nano Flash. We have a SLC, MLC, TLC. So far, they all have a different capacity, endurance, and cost, of course. Okay. So it's very important that us to this slide is not to scare people because you just want to let everybody know. Today we are walking through this slide from a user's aspects. Okay. Yeah. Just want to let everyone know that the SSD is not always that fast. It has different kind of SSD. Okay, for example, most the frequent asked question from users is that I have chosen SSD, but the consistent performance is not good. Why? Okay. And that reason is because maybe user choose a cheaper and higher capacity, but the consistent performance is lower. QLC SSD. Okay. So there has many different SSD on the market that users should care about, and also that we SSD have a different interface. Yeah. Right now, before it has a SATA, and now you have M.2 PCle and even U.2 latest interface. You have right now you have a specifically larger interface NVMe, and the SSDs continue evolving with higher even capacity or performance different thing. There has so many types of different SSD on the market right now. Yeah. But today we have this record because we know that even there has so many different types of SSD, the SSD price is continuing falling. You can see this report from SanDisk is that SSD right now for a SATA SSD with 500
gigabytes.
Yes, compared to 500 gigabytes HDD, the SSD price is even lower.
Okay.
Yes, 215 gigabyte SSD price is lower than 500 HDD. This is price per gigabytes. Okay. And so the major difference again between SSD and HDD is still the render performance. You see there has about 200 times higher in renders IOPS. For those of you who is not clear about rendering IOPS, is most efficiently used when you evaluate, for example, web server or for example, a database, because you have so many files, like you need to continue. IOPS means input output per second. Yes. Yes, which means that the storage's performance in handling so many small input and output every second. So higher IOPS, of course, is a better storage. Okay. Okay, so this is a new slide because previous slide we might check already in the other live streaming, but this is new. We do some market survey. The reason that we want to have today's broadcast is because from the market survey we know even if the SSD is in the same type, you see for example MLC, the price range is still very high. So if for example even the MLC in Intel and Samsung Kingston can have a range of 15% price difference, and it same happen to TLC and QLC. So this slide tells us why, and the reason is that why we may need to consider our storage or consider our server, and beside from considering which SSD we want to use, because different SSD have different quality, and how to maximize the SSD potential is by choosing the one method is by choosing the right
server, okay,
right server, right technology, of course.
Okay.
And let's bring to our topic is like choosing QNAP
NAS.
Is one of your best choice.
Yeah, that's why later we will see like we have a triangle in the slides. It's called QNAP technology.
Yes,
and
yes.
Which we want to actually tell people that you can utilize QNAP NAS to access the full potential of the SSD, as you were saying.
Yes.
Right?
Yes. Okay. So after seeing this, let's have a recap on this chapter first.
Okay.
It's, besides the SSD have different price range, but still we can see that to choose SSD, you need to consider SSD type and also the application that you want to use.
Okay.
For example, SLC is an industrial standard and it is more suitable because it have a very high consistent write performance. It might be suitable, for example, the hottest topic today, AI training.
Yes, it's a buzzword.
Yeah, a buzzword. Yeah, because for AI training, you need to consider. For example, we see the QS here. It has an AI data lake.
Okay.
What does this mean? This means that you have so many data, and you need to find somewhere to store it for the computer to continue to read it and use it to training your AI module, right?
Oh, yeah.
And that's what AI data lake mean. But for AI training, you not only need to read that data, you also need to write the result into your algorithm. So you not only need fast random read performance, you also need fast random write performance. Yeah. That's why the reason that we recommend, actually different SSD vendor all recommend we use, for example, NLC or even SLC to do the AI algorithm training, because it can not only help you to read faster, but also write faster and training faster, train your AI module faster. So for example, we have AI training system storage for SLC SSD, and we have the virtualization storage cache. The general business application can use MLC, and consumer-oriented, but still, for example, studio and video editing, they can choose TLC, have both high capacity and reasonable performance. And of course, right now we have a consumer notebook and AI data lake. Those require to store up data, and maybe performance is write performance is not a major issue. They can choose the QLC.
Okay.
Yeah. So this is just a quick recap on which SSD you can choose. But let's move to comparison.
Okay.
Yes.
Competition.
Yes. Here we list QNAP and of course another vendor, major vendor, Synology.
Yeah.
We write it directly this time. Yeah. Both QNAP and Synology, I must say, is a very famous company in NAS storage and also proud of Taiwan because they are all based in Taiwan. Yeah, right. But compared to Synology, I must say that from this table, there has so many different technology related to SSD. For example, SSD Over-Provisioning, auto-tiering, SSD Cache. We have, for example, SSD Cache, we have not only read-only, read-write, we also have a write-only cache.
Okay.
And we have a SSD encryption drive, and along with our hardware, for example, we have the QM2 card that support not only M.2 SSD, but also 10 GB. All those technology, what I want to say is that QNAP is a system provider that are more willing to try the new technology and port it quickly to the end user related to the SSD. Which means right now in this SSD tree, from this compare table, of course I also check the function in DSN, in Samsung DSN. But for my comparison, it seems like QNAP is a more reasonable choice if you want to you maximize the potential of the SSD.
Yes. Especially as I see here, like SSD management, QNAP is doing a much better job in this part, as you have the health monitor tool, and monitoring solutions that QNAP is providing, maybe where the other vendor is still not as advanced as QNAP.
Yes. So that's one reason that today we want to recap our SSD technology, because there has just too many technology. Maybe user cannot see the difference. We want to show the difference and let you know why we can be one of your best choice. Okay, so but before the introduction on all the hardware and hardware adventure, let's just quickly see a live demo on using the iometer. So we can switch to the
demo.
Yes, switch to the demo, please.
All right, here you go.
Okay, so from here you can see that I have opened a Qtier interface, and let me see the system status. I'm using a TeamViewer. you can see that this is TS12A3XU. Okay. This is a recommended NAS for SMB or even business data center, and it has 16 GB of memory RAM, so it's quite a device for business user. And let me open this storage and snapshots. It will be a little bit slow because I'm using TeamViewer and I connect to our QNAP lab directly. Okay. And from here you can see that we have 12 drive and 4 is SSD cache. We use the SSD cache, and then we create in 2 files. The system file does not have a SSD cache, as you see there has no flash icon. And another data file too, it has a SSD cache enabled. The rest of this 8 disks I have created into 2 RAID files to create those 2 different files. Okay. Yes, one has SSD cache and the other has none. Okay, so it has data file 2 has a share folder and SSD, which means it has SSD cache, and another non-SSD does not have SSD cache. Okay, this is quite simple, right? Yeah. So, okay, let's keep it in this space, and then we use our meter. Okay, before we use AJ majorly for the demo, right? But AJ is a performance test tool, not majorly for screenshot or throughputs. Yeah, but the major difference, as we show in the slide, is that SSD can improve the random LPS for up to 100 or even 200 times compared to HDD. So right now, let me just show you the basic interface of our meter. Here, I already connect to this NAS with 10GB and with SATA. So you can see there has 2 network drive here. One is a non-SSD folder, another is SSD folder that we have created in the NAS. So let me select this non-SSD folder, and we select this size, this sector. This sector is when you transfer to gigabyte, it means 100 GB. So this exceeds the NAS rate. This ensures that our test is done directly right into the storage. This Windows has 64 GB of RAM, but it's still smaller, so we can ensure that all the data will go to the NAS storage directly. And we have a set for outstanding. This is especially used when we test a random pattern. And then here the access pattern, we use 4K, 0% read and 100% write. So it's basically a random write performance test. Okay. And let's see the result of a non-SSD share folder. Okay. Okay, very fast. Okay, become less than 1,000. You can see the performance without the SSD cache is actually just nothing to say. It's just HDD performance. One HDD maybe have 100 to 200 LPS, and so you can imagine that when you have 10 or 20 users continue to writing data into this NAS with this LPS. Of course, just 4 to 5 users is okay. Yeah. But when the users increase, the user will feel some delay in the system because it cannot handle so many I/O at the same time. Okay, so we see now with this HDD performance. Let me close this and go back to this target. This time I choose the SSD share folder and try to demonstrate again and see the result. Okay, all the settings is the same, and press test. Okay, let me change the range to. Okay, so you can see the performance difference is with the SSD cache.
It's huge.
Yeah, 100 times improvement maybe. Yeah. So the difference with this SSD cache and our SSD cache have a different technology, of course, but this simple SSD cache can let your server be directly upgrade from one system that can only be supported, for example, up to 5 people is a file server to maybe 100 people. Yeah. So this is just a demo to the SSD cache. And before we end, we can check that in cache acceleration, I use 4 SSD, Samsung SSD, and I also use over-provisioning. At least for 20%, for example, use RAID 10, help to ensure that all the continued random writes, the performance will not drop even after a long term of usage because they have a higher over-provisioning element, which we will introduce later with our QNAP technology. So let's go back to the slide.
All right.
Thank you.
Yeah. So let's see what we have next.
Yes. So for the demo, we already see that even with the simplest SSD cache configuration, the NAS system can be totally upgrade the performance. Okay, upgrade 100 times or even more. So let's just start to explore what technology we can utilize with our QNAP NAS.
All right. So these are QNAP technologies that we're going to introduce.
Yes. Okay. First of all, in hardware, you can see from the title directly that we support M.2 PCle.
Yeah.
Yes, so if you want, you can insert the PCIe SSD into our NAS system to be as a cache or as a Qtier. And here you can see that we also have built-in M.2 slots on different models. For example, X82, X73. Those you can use to do as a Qtier or SSD cache to accelerate your storage performance. And finally, we have this gigantic.
It's gigantic.
Yeah. 2AAAX. Yes. It has a latest U.2 interface that allow you to, as we mentioned, do AI training. I guess this machine, the whole purpose, our marketing term is that using this machine to train AI algorithm and module, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
We can train this one. We can utilize also other softwares that we have in the QNAP QTS to run the AI training. In the machine.
So not even a software, from hardware, you can already see that we continue reporting the latest SSD technology. And next page, that you see not only on the hardware, the NAS that we provide, we also have SSD card. For example, this QM2, it can be inserted with M.2 SSD to expanding your NAS space and using it as SSD cache or even Qtier, even if it has no enough slots. And right now we have a new QM2 card, which not only just have a M.2 SSD slot, but also allow user to connect with the 10 GB. Because we know that if you only have the disk, one gig network is not gonna work out, right? So we have a higher speed network and M.2 SSD be combined with this QM2 card. And of course, right now here's some detailed design. We have a different QM2 card. We support both SATA and PCIe interface. So of course the PCIe interface is faster, but you can choose whatever you want or even combine it with 10 GB. Okay. So here, our QM2 card is actually allow users love our QM2 card, not only because it can be inserted in your NAS, but also because it can be inserted. I also just recently noticed is that our QM2 card can be inserted in the other system, for example, Windows Server or Linux Server. You know this?
No, I just learned it now.
Oh, you know it now. Yeah, we should do more promotion.
I think so.
Of course, for the 10 GB card, you need to install additional network drive. But right now, for this Windows or the Linux, if you want if you want to have the 10 GB or the additional M.2 slot, you can simply purchase our QM2 card as well and insert it on your server.
That would be very useful also.
I think it's it's actually very good for people who want to accelerate their major system performance. Even in the SMB state start, they can utilize this. Okay, so we are not only focused on NAS, we also have those tools that help user to IT manager to increase their storage performance, not even beside for the NAS, also on the server. Okay. And so with this QM2 card, we can leave the 3.5-inch slots to insert more hard disk or insert the other SSD while using this QM2 card to creating SSD cache and also the Qtier solution. Okay. And recently we also have the M.2 to SATA to actually, it's a 2.5-inch SATA to M.2 SATA adapter. Something like this. This we also allow users to utilize the limited slot. For example, if you only have one slot and you want to create an SSD cache, you can also use this. You see that it has an external array. And you can still create a protected, maybe a protected SSD cache, for example. And it's very benefit that when you only have a limited slots. And we also have this U.2 NVMe U.2 adapter that allow user to along with the 2AAA to use M.2 on the U.2 slots. So different technology we utilize and we try to explore, so user can have a different flexible configuration. And next, let's into this study to explore the usage case. Is from this scenario, from this chart, you can see that the SSD, the working temperature actually affects SSD's endurance. You can see that when the SSD is working in 40 degrees, which is a normal working temperature for SSD, it can, the standard measurement saying that it can work for 1 year. Actually, it should be more, right? But it's just for a study that, we see that from the SS, we see that it can last for 1 year. But when the degree raised to, for example, 80 or 85 degree, it can only last for 2 days.
Oh,
okay. Yeah. So this endurance difference causing by, because SSD, you know, SSD is working in a electronical method compared to hard disk, right?
Yeah.
So when you need to change the data, you need to change the voltage inside the SSD, and all those electronical things will make, when the temperature become higher, the SSD just cannot tolerate so many changes. So the endurance will become lower. And so it's very important that we have a cooling system when we are doing all those devices and all those NASs when we try to insert SSD.
Yes.
So here's some technology that we want to also tell you. So first of all, you can see that we show the adapter. Again, is for example, this 2.5 to M.2 adapter. Now you see that it has some special material that we
It has the aluminum alloy metal frame. Because with this frame, with this aluminum alloy, it actually constructs a better heat dissipation.
Yes.
Right?
Yes. So although it's not a quite obvious technology, actually we also work on the detail to ensure that you can use the SSD with higher performance and in a security and safety way. So this is just the first thing. The second thing is that in the NAS, this turbine, this winning system, also help to ensure that the SSD that working in this NAS can have continue be in a lower temperature. Besides from the hardware design, our software also help. It also continue to detect the SSD temperature. Okay. And when the SSD temperature or the NAS temperature is going higher, this fan will working faster to ensure that the SSD can be continuing in a cooling environment. So this what we call this title
compartmentalized
smart cooling.
Exactly.
I'm not very professional, right? Yeah. So the concept is simple. Is that in every design on NAS, we try to let the SSD to do their best to maximize their potential with this cooling system. Yeah. Okay. Because one thing is that some vendor internally, when they come to us and discuss it, they also mention that when the SSD detects that its working temperature is too high, it will degrade its performance automatically to ensure the SSD will not broken. Oh, yeah. Actually, this is quite an internal spec of the SSD vendor, but which is now we are now willing to see. Because when users are going back to us saying that I purchased SSD and performance in the beginning is very fast and then become lower.
What happened?
They were thinking like this is a NAS issue, but actually this is a hidden spec in the SSD. Yeah, so we want to make sure that whatever from as a system vendor or whatever as a storage vendor or even a test vendor. We have so many SSD in our lab with the NAS already, right? We want to make sure that SSD is working in its best condition.
So to make sure that the QNAP NAS actually provides the perfect environment for the SSD.
Otherwise, our test engineer will also complain to R&D and PM why the SSD is become so slow. So we have hundreds of R&D ensure that every concept is being reached, that we can have bring out the best performance of the SSD. Another sample is showing in the QM2 card. We have so many different components on this tiny device to ensure that SSD can be continuing cooling, including the fan and including the fan array, heat sinker. So many things. Okay. So after introduce the hardware technology, let's move to the software technology. And the first thing that we show is the SSD over-provisioning. We already releasing 4.3.6. And I think it's very clear to the user right now already that different SSD have reserved different space so that it can have a better garbage collection. Which if we don't know what that means, next slide will tell you what is garbage collection. Right now we all know that because the unit calculation difference, the SSD will reserve some space to improve its internal operation. And for more advanced SSD, for example, the SSD that being used in data center, they may reserve more space. This is what we call over-provisioning. But why? So here is the slide that we will introduce and explore this over-provisioning concept. Okay.
So first, before you go, I will ask you. So you suggest people to reserve more space for over-provisioning?
Yeah, of course, it is better to reserve some space in SSD, but maybe not more, because if you reserve up to for example, 80 or 90.
Yeah, that's too much.
Yes, basically the concept is if you reserve some space in an SSD, it can help to improve the random write performance.
Okay.
But the random read performance will remain the same because the concept that we will show next. So if you only use, for example, read-only cache, it's maybe better not to use over-provisioning because you only care about the read performance, right? Yeah. So in the next, we also have our own unique tool called SSD Profiling Tool to help users decide the best over-provisioning amount. But right now, let's just understand the basic concept first.
Okay.
So you can see that here is a simplified SSD blocking has maybe different pages inside. And if I want to write 6 new data, and let's see what happened. It has some reserved space, and when you want to write the data, you can write the data into the reserved space, but the remaining space cannot be written. Yeah. The reason is compared to HDD that when you write new data, you just need to erase and overwrite the existing page in the SSD. You need to erase the whole block before you can write new data, which means that even if you can see that it has a green page, right? You can have some data that still need to be used, but if you have no place to put those green data, you cannot erase the whole block because you cannot automatically delete user data, right? And when in this time the remaining data cannot be written. Yes. So actually, when in real world, how SSD work is that when you try to write 6 new data into this SSD, it will need to move the existing data to the over-provisioning space first. And then when you write the data into the over-provisioning space, and then he do the garbage collection and clean those blocks, and then the new data can be write into the SSD. This is how it do to how the over-provisioning work. So to ensure the SSD can continue writing new data into its cells. So this concept, because we see that the SSD has received order to write 6 new data. But in fact, it needs to write 10 data. You need to move some data and write new data. This is what we call
write amplification.
Write amplification. Yes. Okay. This is a professional term, but I just want to let you know that this is what we define because the over-provisioning will affect not just, you see that we list over-provisioning space, you need to do more garbage collection, affect the performance. And we list write amplification. Write amplification. Yes, you need to write more time, and the SSD endurance will become lesser.
So it will hurt the endurance of the SSD. Performance after.
Yes. So with more OP, let's see how over-provisioning can work if I have a reserve more space. So this is just a very simple. When you have reserve more space and original data, of course it can only store this data, but the data can be write directly.
So this is the scenario when you are using a reserved over-provisioning space.
Yes, using more over-provisioning space.
More over-provisioning space.
And of course the SSD, sooner or later he need to do SSD tree, which is something like automatic garbage collection. You can try to move these 2 green data block into below, so the upper 2 new block can write new data directly. But right now, just in that moment when an SSD need to write new data, when you have more reserving space, you can write less. Yes. So this is a simple concept of over-provisioning. But next, let's see the professional report from different SSD vendors. Is that, for example, those reports provided by Macron, and you can see that the WAF, which is the write amplifications indexing, is become higher when there has this OP, which means that the disk more space is being used in the disk. And when you reduce the amount that the SSD can be used, the space that SSD can use, the WAF has become lesser. And from the right chart, we can see that with less usable space and more reserved space, of course, the terabyte writes, TBW, is become larger, which means that the total data that can be written into SSD has become larger.
So it means SSD life, it increases?
Yes, of course. Yes, exactly, actually. Not of course, exactly. Many people may not think about this, but you think about it right away. It's very great. Okay, so right now, not just in the SSD vendors report from our own lab, you can also see that we have some tests and some result. For example, you can see that the Samsung SSD, when we reserve more over-provisioning space, the performance in the blue charts, it dropped very quickly when all the over-provisioning space is being starting to work and all the garbage collection is starting to work. But when we have using the over-provisioning, for example, up to 14%, so the SSD performance has become, at least it's a consumer Samsung SSD, and it can reach the spec of an industrial SSD. Yes. And besides from single SSD test, we also test, for example, micron SSD with RAID 1. We can also see that the consistent performance with RAID 1 with more over-provisioning, its performance become better. Okay. So to summarize, of course, the SSD can be benefit from this over-provisioning. And the question you asked at the beginning is very good. Is that we should reserve more space? No, because it's depending on the SSD, whatever you support over-provisioning, whatever you have a good garbage collection engine, and it also depending on the NAS system, right? If your NAS is maybe home NAS, maybe you do not need to reserve so many space because the performance will be limited. Okay, so here we have to provide a SSD profiling tool. Which I'm very proud to say that right now still only QNAP provides such tool. Yeah, maybe the other vendors say it's not important maybe, but we think it's very important that you can test the SSD's consistent write performance on your QNAP NAS directly with this providing tool test.
Yeah, I think it's very important to be aware and know what is happening with your SSD and your data and how to actually utilize the maximum of it.
Yes. So this SSD profiling tool will help user to again maximize the SSD potential with the SSD they purchase. Or you can simply just borrow SSD from the vendor and that's it. And if the performance is not good, just return the SSD. Some users even purchase the NAS simply to test different SSD. That's one scenario. So this is a very convenient tool, and let's move to the next topic. Is of course, I believe that user who watch our live streaming already know Qtier. Actually, just one thing I want to focus on. The key point is that with Qtier, because compared to SSD Cache, it uses SSD for acceleration, but the data is actually only copied to SSD, so the SSD capacity cannot be used. But from this right chart, you can see that the SSD's capacity is combined with the HDD rate. So actually, with Qtier, user can using both the HDD and SSD capacity. This has become more and more important because right now we have not just MLC, we have TLC and QLC. You know, those are very large SSD, and user want to every money they spend is worthy. So we think Qtier is a solution if you want to fully utilize the SSD capacity. And of course, the steering is by schedule. So compared to SSD Cache, it's not real time, of course, still. But if you are using mail server or web server, it's even better to use the Qtier. So that you can fully utilize the SSD capacity.
So different scenarios, different usages, different suggestions.
Yes. And of course, with Qtier, we have 2.0. This is already available in our 4.3.5. So we have on-demand tiering, which user can decide. Because our NAS is compatible system, so user may use it to host virtual machine or do application or hosting some pictures at the same time. But we allow user to decide which folder should place its data into the SSD. So this also allow user to maximize their investment in the SSD. Because if you use the competitive NAS, and you may not be able to choose which more important data should be put into the SSD. But we know SSD space is limited, and you need to accelerating the data that you use more. So we also provide this in Qtier. Okay, and finally in 4.4.1, before we does not allow this, but right now user can freely remove and just upgrading a storage pool in the Qtier storage pool, which means the user can very easily change the SSD configuration in Qtier. For example, choose from using the 3.5-inch slot to use QM2 card to form the SSD tier. It's become very easily for 4.4.1, and all the data, of course, will be kept. Yes. Okay, and next topic is about SSD Cache. Of course, SSD Cache is a common topic, so every vendor all have a different SSD cache, cache, right? But our SSD cache is the one thing special. For example, compared to Synology, 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 you can, of course, you can have more possible setting to configure different SSD cache for different storage port, but it's kind of a waste in our context because you might not have so many slots to use different different SSD cache for different port. And our SSD cache is a global cache. It's a one, for example, 4 drives SSD cache. If I want the demo, you remember that with the 12-bay NAS, we can supporting SSD cache. Once I have created with 4 SSD, I can enable SSD cache on all those 2 storage ports. So one SSD cache can apply to all the storage system, which is the other vendors I mentioned, Snapdragon may still not be able to do it yet. Maybe we have different design concepts, but right now we see that SSD is very valuable and it should be utilized on all storage systems at the same time. Okay, so this is just simply how our global SSD cache work, but it actually should be the same for all the storage vendor, which means that when you write data and you write to the SSD first to increase the write speed, and you also move the frequent access data, copy it to the SSD cache so that the application can read the data faster. But one thing that we have specially developed is that we support write-only cache. Write-only cache means that we do not copy any data from the storage to the SSD cache, and it's more suitable for file servers. For example, focus on write operation. For example, I want to a backup server. For example, I just want to ensure that when I back up to 100 PC, I can have a very high backup speed. While the other read access is not important, so I can use write-only cache even on the backup server, because for example, some power user may think it's funny to use SSD on the backup server, right? Because backup server is actually not need so higher performance. But in fact, we have some actually a lot of customers also use SSD cache in the backup server because they need to just back up so many device data sets, so that they need to use the SSD cache, and not just the read-write cache. They can even use the write-only cache. And of course, for example, the IoT server, it continues to write the data, read the data collected back to the cloud. But most importantly is that you need to collect the data from maybe 100 or even 1,000 IoT devices back to the NAS. So you also need very high write performance. This is also the reason that write-only cache can be utilized in this case. And of course, same as the concept that Microsoft introduced to us, Microsoft has a write-only cache firstly because it thinks that when you have a, for example, SSD storage, which we see in the chart, you can use in some more endurable SSD as a cache to ensure that the data has been summarized and has been already been ready when he need to write back to the backend storage. Which means when you have a SSD as primary storage, that you only access the data that has been conferred. Because this concept is that when you write data to the SSD cache, it will not write into the primary storage directly. And because this time, not just because you need some time to flash, but also because that the user may continue to modify the data. But with this, for example, NVMe SSD in front, it ensures that the data, only after it has been modified complete, will it flash to the primary storage, which helps to ensure that this write action is happening to the primary storage. So this concept is introduced by Microsoft. We also have, we think that this is a very good case because right now, for example, Intel have Optane SSD, and it's clear that there has no endurance limitation on this Optane SSD, right? So if this is true, we can actually put Optane SSD as an SSD cache, and to ensure that the real level of the primary storage is become very low. Okay. So this is all the reason why we do write-only cache. This is another advanced technology that we have compared to the other storage vendor. Okay, so so many functions in the Qtier and SSD cache, and of course, if you want to switch to from SSD cache, for example, to Qtier, or when you want to creating the SSD cache with QM2, you don't need to start a system service. You can upgrade or remove SSD cache directly, which is also one advantage that we have compared to the other vendor. And when you upgrade the storage port to Qtier storage port, the service can also continue to operate. Okay, so here's a recap on the SSD cache and Qtier. You can see the chart is that actually SSD cache and Qtier, they has not much performance difference, right? The for example, the SSD cache and Qtier, the random write LPS performance, maybe Qtier is a little bit better in the, for example, random write, but it's generally the same. So we still need to, which is better, SSD Cache or Qtier?
Yeah.
What is your idea?
I asked you
Yeah.
before, and I know that you told me that it depends on what we are using it for, right?
Yes.
So Qtier, different scenario, cache on different scenario. What would you say? What would be some of the scenarios that you're using Qtier?
Yes. The major advantage of SSD Cache is, of course, as I mentioned, it's a real-time performance boost because it does not require the CPU, the NAS system to tearing data into different storage directly. You just cache all the data and then flash to the primary storage. But for Qtier, of course, it's more advantage that you can also utilize the SSD's capacity and using it along with your primary storage to provide a higher capacity system and store more data. Especially right now we have a TLC and QLC SSD. Yeah, so it's majorly depending on your applications and scenario.
Right.
Okay, yeah. And finally, in 4.4.1, we also started to support this SSD help monitoring, continuous monitoring. We provide this later compared to the other vendor because we want to do it more correctly. So right now we have retrieved this amount directly from the SSD. So the number is what is shown here is suggested by the SSD itself. It is supported by most SSD vendor, and user can use this to easily check whether the SSD life is good or it has only less life. Yeah. So with this feature right now supporting 4.4.1, we can further to use our notification centers, for example, email or push notification to let user know when the disk life is become lesser, for example, less than 5%, and then issue this warning. Because this almost is reported by the disk vendors, and it's just an estimation number. So when it reach 0, it does not mean that SSD will work right away. You can continue using it for some time, but we will still suggest you to replace it as quick as possible.
Do a backup first.
Yes. Okay, so the other tiny feature is that, for example, in our disk help page, we also support this SSD features list. With this, all the SSD one SSD can support it. For example, SSD support security rates or SED. SED is showing below, or smart self-test. This function is originally designed for our test engineer because when we test different function, the engineer always complain to PM and RD saying that why this SSD does not work, this function is not working on this SSD, and why that function is not working. Yeah, but we think now this is also very important for end user when we purchase or borrow an SSD. We can see whether the SSD is comparable with all of our NAS feature in advance. I think it's very, although it's a tiny feature, but very useful. Okay, and finally, we have introduced this in a previous live training. I believe it's about SED incrementals, but not incremental, encryption. I speak too much, encryption, yes. So with this SSD encryption, we can create a SSD report and to lock it, while at the same time remain the same performance of the disk. We think this is very important because when we also want security, while at the same time have a better performance, the other PM have introduced before, if we only use software encryption, the performance will be decreased. Okay. So here's just a tiny table that we have some suggested configuration for the user when using the SSD. We are QNAP NAS. If you are only use the file server, simple file server, you can use REST because less people will access the file server. They only access when I need to write that document, I need to override, create some new Excel file. And I can use the REST with only 10% of over-provisioning. But if we go to more, for example, more real-time and more write-intensive application, for example, this surveillance or even backup server or log server, we can use write-only cache. It has a real-time, actually 24/7 requirement. For example, the IoT server, you need to collect so many logs from so many IoT devices. And we will suggest you to use write-only cache with rate 10 with 30% of over-provisioning. So here is just some table to show the best SSD configuration depending on the scenario. So here, the conclusion is QNAP is your best choice. Some people may choose the SSD first, but with all those technology that we have introduced and summarized today, we believe that is also a great option to choose QNAP NAS and then choose an
so.
SSD.
Yeah, I think it's very important actually to choose QNAP, because with all these services, with all these technologies that to support and make the best to use the SSD, and we have like fast, safe, and easy. So
yes.
You wanna go next? See what is about
yes.
fast?
Here's some recaps.
Okay, so with the fast, why is QNAP your best choice? Is you can set up the SSD over-provisioning to boost the SSD performance. You were talking just now, and it has 3 types of it. Make it read-only, write-only, and read and write. And if you listened until now, you see that the write-only, it is actually very well suggested to use it if you are using a backup server for IoT devices to get all the information. And also by fast, we have the Qtier auto-tier, which is our software solution on helping you to actually access and arrange all the data, like the data that you use most in the SSD, the data that you use less. We will send it in the HDD. So this is this combination of SSD and hard disk.
Yes.
And safe SSD, again, over provisioning, increasing the SSD lifespan, SSD encryption drive, health monitoring tool, and auto SSD reliability notification.
Yes.
And by easy, we mean that it supports more than one volume, which is
global SSD cache.
Global SSD cache, yes.
I guess. I can trust you. Yeah. And we have so many things. Yeah, replace online, no interrupt, so doing the SSD cache. And here we have a Qtier. Actually, Qtier tearing on demand, of course. And we also have QM2 and SATA to M.2 converter, all those flexible device, yes, to let use to configure best to bring out the best potential of the SSD. Yeah.
So, is this the end?
Yeah.
It's your best choice.
QNAP with SSD, best choice. Okay.
So let's go back to the live here, and we came to the end. We reached to the end, and if you want to see this video or any other video like this, and see what the QNAP technology provides to you more, go to live.qnap.com here. So thank you everyone, and bye.
Have a good day.
Yeah,
bye bye.
You too.